This your boy Zach Shirley,
Christopher Walker,
Quentin Coleman,
Adrian Neal Jr.
Hey y'all, it's your boy Harold. The Blackberry View is here. So do what you gotta do, get ready, pop your popcorn.
Sit back, relax
Join us.
for the journey that is Blackberry View.
watch the Blackberry View.
My girlfriend, my girlfriend.
Y'all doing that twice. Do wicked thing. My girlfriend, my girlfriend, there through it in vain. My girlfriend.
Oh, we gotta do the back thing.
Okay, anyways, hey y'all.
Always cute.
Welcome back to the Blackberry View, episode 6. Yes, 6 episodes in. Thank you so much for all of y'all's support. This episode, we're going to be talking about friends. How many of us have them? Friends. What? Ones we can depend on. I'm talking about friends to the end of life. Yeah, whatever. So, yeah. So, thank you so much for joining in on this episode. So let's just actually jump right on in. Harold, what you got for us?
So for the Daily Squeeze, I'm not sure if y'all seen, but on HBO Max, they have released this Friends reunion. Which, and for those in our audience who don't know what Friends are, they're just the great value version, knockoff version of Living Single. So if you don't know what Living Single is, step your shit up. So yeah, this has brought up the continuous controversy related to, you know, which one's better, Friends or Living Single. It goes without saying it's Living Single. But also just this notion of that depiction of young black people, particularly in Living Single, not Friends, y'all. Young professional black people in Living Single, how much of a staple it is in the black community when we talk about friendship. So for y'all, like, knowing the characters, I'm sure we all know the characters, who are your friends? Like, so in your circle, who's your Khadijah, who's your Regine, who's your Maxine, your Overton, your Kyle, your Sinclair?
Okay, so
Next time, you just gotta give 3 because I know we.
So I think that the thing about it is all of us have so many different friend groups that is so nuanced. So we'll be here all day.
Who are you from the show? Just do that.
Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. So Harold, who are you?
You know, in my heart of hearts, I was about to say I'm a Maxine Shaw. Like I'm Maxine Shaw turning in law, baby. My wit and my ability to just, you know, be with the people. Like I'm with that, and sprinkling a little Kyle Barker every now and then. You know, when I want to go back to the motherland. So, but Maxine is my girl. I love everything about Maxine. Maxine was that character.
And so I love that twist because we all told Harold who he would be, Boots.
right.
And I think that we can all say who the other ones would be.
Oh yes.
Because I personally think that I would be a Khadijah. I'm used to being in charge. I'm used to being the one who runs shit because I run shit. And so
I would give you a Kyle.
you would give me a Kyle. Why would you give me a Kyle? Why would y'all give me a
Kyle was very like business oriented, just like put together. Like he was they're all successful in their own right, but he was like the pinnacle of like success. He had his thing. He was the one traveling internationally. He had the degrees. He had the culture. Like,
And he loved love.
yes,
and you
yes,
love love.
Yes, yes.
I do love love.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this is my opinion. What do you guys think?
Who y'all think?
Regine.
Next, Chris.
I would actually think I would be a cross between Sinclair and Maxine.
No.
I don't see Maxine.
No.
I see Sinclair.
Okay, yes, Regine. Yes.
But I can see Sinclair because, you know, baby, you can
No. Sinclair.
Oh, yeah. Q is definitely.
Oh, yeah.
That's definitely
Yeah, yeah. But the only thing I match with Regine about is fashion and men. So my husband out there, please call me. He's on his way, Jesus.
Good job, Sinclair. Way to support your brother.
Personally, I would say Khadijah, just because like Khadijah was like the real cool, like real hip hoppy urban one, And like that's what I represented like on the show. Like we're like, what's up, how y'all doing? Like always in the nightlife, the scene. I would say Khadijah, but I do have a little taste of Regine. I do have a little taste of Maxine, and I can be a Sinclair.
I'll say I'm a cross. Like I do, yes. I identify with Sinclair, yes. But then I say I have a little bit of Kyle too, and then I have a wee bit of Khadijah.
You know, I think you have really good Overton energy. See, Overton was the homie next door that you didn't know you needed. Like dependable, funny, reliable, like all around.
And Overton was fine. I thought he was fine.
Oh, I did too. I did with that something about that tool belt.
Y'all, we want you all to tell us, write in, who do you think you would be on Living Single?
And who do you think we would be? Do you agree with our assessment? Do you agree with our assessments of each other?
They've seen us a few times now, so I'm sure that they have.
And some of you have seen us in the streets and elsewhere.
If you say I'm the wrong person, I'm blocking you.
Blocked. Blazaji. Well, y'all, before we get further into our conversation, we're going to take a brief commercial break. See you right back. Hey y'all, welcome back. Brief commercial break. So before we jump into the juice, y'all, I got a little bit of tea that I want to ask y'all about. Did y'all hear about what happened between Portia and Fallon?
That she took her man.
Bitch, I take your man. And I got it like,
She pulled in Alicia Keys.
She did.
And Alicia Keys' voice ain't been the same since.
So in order for you to take something from somebody, it had to belong to somebody else. And the word on the street is that Fallon was already pregnant by another guy and their relationship was over. So in my view, Portia did not do anything wrong. They were not friends. They were just castmates. They were getting a check together. Just because I got a check together with you does not mean I owe you anything. And if I want your man, I'm going to have your man because I am that bitch.
well,
And in that order.
and in that order, I wanted to bring it up because, you know, I often wonder and reflect, what if y'all took my man? Like, how would that make me feel? But y'all are real friends. All right, so I bring that up because, you know, when you're thinking about friendship, you know, where are those boundaries and those lines between, like, when it comes to dating? Like, do y'all think Portia was foul? I mean, she was in the girls' pool. She was in the girls' house. Even though she came out and said we weren't really friends, still, she was, like, very present.
She was in her space, but I will say, they were just coworkers. They weren't even friends. So she didn't owe her anything, to be honest. And he was already gone. I mean, he was already kind of like out the picture, and she was already like allegedly pregnant for some other man. So I don't think it was any.
I don't know all about Fallon's business, and I no shade to her, but I don't watch The Real Housewives of Atlanta, but I know Portia is one of the main stars, and Fallon is just, I think, she's like a co-star. Right. So, but for Portia, I just feel like, okay, if you came up under my roof, right, ate my food, drank my drink, used my toilet, you know what I'm saying, my wipes, I have an issue with you.
I gave you a tampon.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I have issue because, to me, it's the principle, right? Here's the thing. Even if they were already, like, in the midst of a separation or divorce or, you know, whatever the case was going on in their own relationship, optically, right? And here's the thing. The court of public opinion always takes precedence when you think about media. I just feel like, optically, it looks bad under the umbrella of friendship because a real friend would not go to your house and kiki with you, and then like a month or two after going to your house, or however long it was, end up with your husband.
But I think that's the point of saying they weren't real friends.
Right.
Like, they were friends because of they were friends by association.
Your friendship was associated with a what? Contract.
But I think what Harold's also saying is that the fact that You came in my house.
I mean, cousin Faith came in the house and she fucked the hoe.
Wait. Hold on, because Faith is so different.
But then also, I'm not even gonna fault. I really don't fault Portia all that much. I fault the man because it sounded like he didn't even want to be kept anyway. So he was going astray. So I have issue with him more than Portia.
And then I'm gonna tell you too. Portia dotted her T's and crossed her I's because she had a conversation with the father of her child, Dennis.
Yeah.
And her new boo about what the situation was. And Dennis said that he supports Portia and whatever Portia needs to do. So as long as Portia is taking care of her household and making sure that she's good, hey, she
That's
like
true.
it, sister, I love it.
What y'all don't know is that Portia's ex and her new boo are actually business partners and friends themselves. So that brings an interesting dynamic as well.
For me, I think men look at it differently than women do. You know, I saw something, it's related to me but unrelated, but it was like a meme that said, when bottoms find out they fuck the same dude, they be fighting, but when tops find out they fuck the same dude, they be high-fiving each other. And I kind of see it like that.
And so y'all know me and my friend Devin, we had this conversation all the time. We would go out together and I'd be like, bitch, you fucked him? But yeah, but I did too. Okay, that's what's up. How was it? And it'd be no shade, it'd be no tea.
But anyway, we are cutting into, our next segment. So, Q.
Yeah, it's my time.
What's the juice?
Well, staying on the topic of friends, how many of us have them? And what does a genuine friend mean to us, right? Having a friend, like how do you define friendship? Like, do we all have varying definitions of friends?
So I think many people confuse friendship with associates. And so you hear people say all the time, "Oh, this my friend," and it's like, no, that's really not your friend, right? So I define friendship somewhat similar to how I define family, right? People who I can be vulnerable, transparent with, and I think I have friend groups, right? So I have my friends who I can go out and party with, drink with, get shots with, whatever the case may be. I have my friends who I can have deep internal conversations with, friends who I can be like, girl, this nigga just did some fuck nigga shit and I'm hurting. Can we have a healing moment, right? Then I have those friends who I can talk about finances with, right? I'm starting to realize that people come into your lives for different reasons. And you can't group all of your friends into one category. You have friends that serve different needs, and that's okay, right? It shouldn't be that all your friends should be able to get along and no, that's not going to happen, right? Because I may have a friend who I can kiki with, but they are horrible when it comes to finances. So I'm not going to go to them when I need help with creating a budget. I'm going to go to my other friends who I know is great at that, right? So I think that we have to start really thinking about, one, who are we calling friends? Should they just be associates? Should they just be co-workers? And then how are we categorizing our friends? Yeah.
And I think I've said this before. I'm the gay nigga that the hood fuck with heavy. So I have a lot of heterosexual straight male friends. I have more straight male friends than gay friends, actually. And so I think that for me, in the years that I've been on this earth, I too have my different sector of friends. Like, my heterosexual friends, my heterosexual male friends, like, there's just a brotherhood there. Like, a brotherhood of commonality outside of sexual orientation and who we sleep with in genuine relationships. But then I know when it come down to Sunday Fun Day, my gay friends, my bitches who I go out with, and we turn up, we go to brunch, then we go to OT, then we go to 3606, then one day we gonna make it to the after hour to see my niece do her thing. Auntie be in the bed though. Yeah. Auntie be tired. But I mean, I think that it is true to where you have those different sectors of friends, and then I have my professional friends, like my friends who I can talk about career advancement with or career pivots with, as I've just done. And so you grow to a certain age where you're like, all right, well, it is okay to have these certain levels of friends. Now, you also have to keep in mind the level of energy that each of these friend groups take. because some take a lot more energy than others, and so are you willing to pour that energy into those friend groups? And that it's different for different people.
For me, I would say I define a friend simply put. A friend is someone I need in a moment, but want for a lifetime. And that for me has like really helped me be intentional about who I give that friend title to. Because I'm looking at people like, when I think about my wedding, when I get married, I ain't getting married no time soon, but when I get married, I want to have kids. These big milestones, who am I inviting to those? And those are people that like I can irrefutably say are on my side and have my back and have had my back. What we used to say, they were with me shooting in the gym, right? And so for me, that is how I best define friend. I will also say, as a side note, I find it difficult. I've attempted this multiple times. I've had a couple successes. I've had a couple successes, but a couple of failures. I've tried to mix my friend groups. And here's the thing: I have varying personality types in my friend groups. I would think that in some ways I'm a strong personality, but I have friends who have a lot stronger personality than myself. And so they walk in a room, and my other friend group has a strong personality. They're like, "Who's this bitch?" Like,
And I think there's also something when you say that, Harold, there's a possessiveness.
so I've had to walk a very fine line. I've been in situations where this friend group has said, "Hey, come out tonight," and this friend group has said, "Oh, come out tonight with us." I'm just like, and so then I'd be like, "Well, how about we both meet? We're going in the same direction." And they'd be both looking like, "Bitch, did you try to like double dip?"
So I have a question for y'all, real quick. So when we're talking about friends and we, and how close our friends are and things of that nature, how do y'all feel about having sex with your friends?
Years ago, like plural, like 10 plus, that occurred. I had sex with someone who I still consider a best friend. And it only happened one time. And it was one of those really, really drunk nights. Like drunk nights.
Drunk or
Tequila drunk. And so for those who don't know, I don't drink clear liquor. So when I drink clear liquor, I behave a certain way. Hence why I never drink clear liquor ever. Because in drinking clear liquor, and that was actually the last time I drank clear liquor. Like that. It was. It did.
Was it that good or
It was that good that it was that bad.
Oh, shit.
Because then the thing about it is that you look at like this person is, to Chris's point, a best friend. Yeah. And do you choose to pursue something that may not work out? Or do you choose to keep the best friendship that you need in your day-to-day life? And for me, for us, it was like, oh shit, like we did this. Like, ooh, we don't need to do this no more, because then the other issue, the gotcha issue, the other shoe was like, I started to develop these feelings. And I told him. And he literally looked at me like he had seen a ghost. Like he was like, you're my best friend. No, and it was like, I have these feelings, but I'm not willing to jeopardize our friendship because these feelings that I may have are not greater than the feelings that I do have.
But is that a cop out sometimes though? I feel like, is there always an opportunity for us to jeopardize a friendship? I feel like some friends can be like, we tried to date, it didn't work, but we still friends.
But I think that it was so intimate that it was like, shit.
Yeah, sometimes it can be awkward. So so let's just say you're in a friendship and you and your friend start dating, right? Well, y'all had sex, right? Continuously having sex. So one person in the friendship starts to develop feelings. The other person's feelings are not reciprocal, right? And so then it creates like a gray area in the miscommunication, because then you like this person. And even if you're not talking, you're still gonna have feelings for that person. So you see that person with somebody else and you get jealous. That messes up your dynamic. Yeah. So then they're reluctant to run to you and talk to you about issues that they're dealing with with this person because they know how you truly and authentically feel. I agree. And I can say that because this recently happened to me. So, to answer the question, yes, I have had sex with friends. No, I have not had sex with my best friend because I always thought that I wanted the person that I wanted to be with. I wanted to be a friend. I wanted to make sure we had a great friendship first, right? So and there's been times where I've been wanting something from you fine, I'm fine. Okay, what we gonna make? I got you, friend. You got me, friend, and that was it. But we have an understanding, and nothing goes from there. But when it comes to like my best friends, people like in my inner circle, those people who I've allowed to see me at my most vulnerable, I won't cross that point because I wouldn't want my feelings to affect the relationship. Example. Finish my example. So there is this guy. We had been cool for about a year, right? So we were friends. Through the process, we found out we had feelings for each other. Also, when he had feelings for me, he was already in a situationship with somebody else. And so he had feelings for me and this person. So like a dumbass, I allowed myself to like him and fall into it and allowed us to talk. So we talked about what we could be, talked about the future. Meanwhile, he's doing the same thing with the other person. 2 weeks ago, we talk on the phone. He says he's engaged. So that crushed me because I allowed myself to be vulnerable enough and open him up to me and make myself accessible to him because I thought that could be something there, right? And like now, it's weird because I was hurt from the situation and now it's hard for me to gauge the friendship. Because even though we had romantic feelings for each other, I still feel for them as a friend he does for me. But there's love there. And it's like, it's hard because it's like, I want my friend to be happy. And they find their happiness in their situation, but at the expense of my happiness.
So then let me ask you, Chris, and we talked about this the last episode, is then that the time when you decide to remove yourself because of what you need for yourself? Or can you
emotionally handle that situation?
So for me, I'm very so much the type of person out of sight, out of mind. So I expressed my feelings. I said how I felt. Follow him on everything. So I can't see nothing. I can't see no posts. If he contact me, of course I reply, but it's not no hanging out. It's not gonna be how things were. But it's just like it's like really awkward. And y'all know the person I'm talking about because y'all done met him. So
well, I was going to say I think it depends on the level of friendship, kind of like what you guys have said, and also are you able to deal with what comes after the fool around moment or whatever? Because I have been in a situation where I've messed around with my friend and we're close friends, but I will say both of us, when it happened, this was a few years back, when it happened, like we both knew what it was. I mean, it was a drunken night, but we knew we could compartmentalize that this was just, we wanted to get it in because we was horny. And then once we done, it was like, we're done. So it never came up from either of us where we had like this awkward, I have these feelings or whatever. Like I love him as a brother and we're still like really good friends, but it didn't get to that point where we had. So I think it just depends on the level of friendship and are you able to, kind of like what Chris said, like are you able to separate,
disassociate sex from emotion?
So I will say I've been dealing with a situation similar to Chris's to where I have this friend who I've been friends with for a very long time. And again, vulnerability, opening myself up, showing that emotion wasn't reciprocated. Now I've had to make a decision on, all right, for me, this is what I need to do now. It hasn't been the unfollowing or any of that, but who's to say that won't happen? Right. But it's like it pulls on you because, the old Escape song, Arms of the One Who Loves You. I want you happy. I want the best for you. And if you have to leave to find your dream, I hope your dreams come true. Right. Sometimes that dream means that I'm not a part of your life anymore. Right. And I also have to think about me. Chris has to think about himself. And these are very real adult conversations. Like, let me tell y'all, the Blackberry View, we ain't just, I mean, we some good time girls. We have a good time. But we also have real life experiences between the 5 of us. And we talk about these and we bring these to you because you may struggle with the fact that you're not able to have somebody to have this conversation with. You don't have a friend group to have this conversation with. But you've seen very vulnerable accounts from us of saying, like, this shit fucked me up. And it's still fucking me up. And we want you to be able to have a conversation about that.
And it will continue to fuck you up. I know, like, there's been people who I've gotten into a relationship with who we should have just been friends.
Correct.
Can I be honest? I've thought about some of my closest friends. I've thought about them like, I wonder what it would be like if we were to date. And I say only that because, not even because I necessarily find them attractive, but I'm just like, this person knows me.
They just get it.
They know me. And I was like, you know, I'm sitting over here fucking swiping left, swiping right, having to tell a nigga my zodiac sign, my favorite color. And I literally have a person who knows who knows me. Like, why I can get on the phone and be like, hey, how you doing? What's wrong? Like, why are we playing these games? And my good friend and frat brother, Jacoby, brought up this one time we having a conversation. Like, why is it that, like, as friends who, like, we have circles of friends who are successful, circle of friends who are single, why don't we date within our friend circle? And not like in a, I'm not talking about just fucking on each other, not that. But like seriously consider dating within our friend circle because we know each other pretty well on different levels of depth. But then also on top of that, like we already have a level of comfort and connection with one another that most people who we meet on an app or something would take us months to get to. So like, you know, that's why I don't know, it permeates my mind sometimes. Like, in a world, right, in another universe, what it would be like if I dated one of my best friends? And I feel like it would be a really good experience because I know my best friends. I know them like the back of my hand.
But that creates a dilemma, right? Because you date and you go to shit. What happens to that best friend relationship? Or you tell your best friend that you have an expressed interest and they don't have, it's not reciprocal. And how does that make you feel? So I guess a lot.
And you see another version. You see another version of a person.
Yeah.
Like,
Because loving you and being in love with you is totally two different things.
there's a difference between love and respect, Erica.
Yes.
But for those of you who are fucking your friends, because I have friends who fuck their friends, it's okay. And I have a group of friends and they all fuck around with each other, but that's the intent of their group and everybody's okay with it.
And that's the point of having different types of friendships, right? You have your friends over here you can talk about this with. You have your friends over here you may be able to fuck on with. You have your friends over here you can party with. Like, and so I bring this conversation or brought this conversation up because I want us to realize that sometimes it's okay to not bring everybody together at one time, right? And it's okay to have different people to meet your needs.
And you shouldn't feel obligated to do that.
And you shouldn't feel obligated to do that. And I love the questions that you brought up in your segment. You know, we just have to start thinking about who we are calling friend and why we're calling them a friend. And with that being said, commercial break. We'll be right back, y'all. Hey y'all, welcome back to the Blackberry View. Y'all, we done spilled some tea during this commercial. We can't share it with y'all, but it was some tea.
You gotta subscribe to the after hours.
Uh-huh. Yes, that's right. Come and see Chris when he's pouring drinks at the after hours. Speaking of Chris, talk to us. What you got for us?
All right. So in the essence of friendships and relationships, and we were talking about dating our friends, we're going to get into what are those feelings, okay? So you know this is my most most favorite part of the show because we get to unpack our emotional being, our emotional states, and really get to uncover some of the feelings associated with how we feel and how we do the things that we do. So, I'm going to propose a question to my castmates. What does it feel like to have feelings for someone that you know you're not supposed to have feelings for? And how do you cope with those feelings?
Unrequited love.
Oh, Jesus.
That's torture. I mean, I know for me, I've had a couple of times where I had a friend and I was like all the way and it wasn't just physically, it was like everything, like we just connected. But I knew that this person didn't feel the same way, and then to see that person like date these other, and I'm like, you dating these busters, and you could be like,
come on, busters.
We could be like this dynamic couple, So to see them go through life and date other people, or like one is actually engaged, and it's torture. And it's something I'm still trying to navigate through my feelings because I'll see them and I'm trying to be as happy as I possibly can for them, but then I'm like, fuck this nigga, But I think that it's hard. It's difficult.
I will say this imitation person of me who can't, you know what? Never mind. But either way, yes, that hurts because you are seeing them out, you're seeing them happy, and you're like, bitch, fuck you. But I digress. We're talking about friendships. So yes, there have been friends who I feel as though we would be great together and we're not together. But I'm also like, I don't want to ruin this friendship. This friendship is one, like, as somebody, because I was a military brat and had to move, like, plenty of times, I never got the opportunity to establish real friendships. And so now in my 30s, and it's already hard to establish friendships as an adult. So now that I have those friends, I don't want to ruin that. So, but yet there's this person or these people who I think I would be great with, but it's just like, it's frustrating.
I have fallen in love with, fallen deep in love with a friend before. And those feelings were not reciprocated. But then I find out that you were entertaining other individuals. Mm-hmm. And I am told, again, I'm these amazing things and I'm these wonderful things. But you pour into someone else. And for me, it is, we shouldn't have ever done this in the first place. We should have remained friends. And now that we have, and Chris, to your point earlier, you can't expect me to turn this off. Mm-hmm. There's no switch on the wall that I can turn this off. And so it's now like, all right, well, again, as I alluded to earlier, I want you happy. I want the best for you. And if you have to leave to find your dreams, I hope your dreams come true, which means I probably have to leave.
Right.
Yeah. And it was an extremely painful journey to go through. However, one has to be honest with themselves and think about the fact that, all right, you genuinely love this person. You want them happy. You also need to be happy. I remember Adrian said one time, it was a couple of weeks ago, when you were having a conversation with your mom, and she said, Adrian, they deserve to be happy, but you deserve to be happy too. Yeah. And sometimes that happiness means that this person is not in your life the way that they were. Yep. And that shit is fucking painful. Yeah. It is a death. Yeah. However, can you go on living your life sitting here on the periphery while they're doing this thing with this other person, and you know that motherfucker don't give them what you can give them? You know that motherfucker will not do for them the way that you do for them.
And that's what you have to work through.
You have to work through yourself. Yes. Because that's your bullshit. Yeah. If they're okay with these individuals or that individual, that's not their issue. That's your issue. Right. And so it's like, all right, I want you happy. But what does happiness look like for me? And does happiness mean that I sit here and allow myself to placate you and placate this and not understand the fact that it's like death of 1,000 cuts?
Yeah.
You know, are you allowing yourself to get 1,000 cuts? Stop your cuts. And so I too have been there.
If I'm honest, here on the Blackberry View, I have had heterosexual friends who I have no business being attracted and/or like, I guess, in love and lust with, depends, right? But and I watch how they be out here in these streets. I'm just like, if you only knew, like, granted, they're not attracted to me, won't ever be. But it's just like, if you were, I could take care of you. And that sounds so like homewreckerish, but like, I could be a good partner to you because I know you well enough and know how you function, and I know that I can be there for you in a way that makes sense with who you are. And you have to reconcile. I tell myself, well, bitch, it's not gonna happen. They're straight. 2, I do go back and forth to like a prior conversation on that would mess with your friendship. And then 3, you just, this ain't what you don't want that problem. You think you want what's behind door number 1. You don't want that. So it's just hard because you have to really talk yourself off a couple ledges and have the emotional intelligence. And that's not to say that like you should second guess, your man or anybody around somebody who you think may be even seemingly attracted to them, but like recognizing that as an individual, as a human, right? We're all humans. We find the weirdest attraction to different things. I've had to really like kind of just mentally get into my mind and be like, this ain't what you want. This ain't for you. This ain't gonna be a thing, and move past my time.
Thank y'all for that. And also like thinking on the other side of things, also acknowledging like being in a space to where you're in love with somebody that you're not supposed to be in love with. Sometimes you have to be willing to take those risks, right? Because I know plenty of people who are in relationships that started out as being best friends, and because they took that risk, they found the person of their dreams. And so I think like a lot of times we have negative situations that happen in our past as it relates to that limits us from even engaging in those things. But I'm gonna tell our viewers, don't be afraid to dream, right? Don't be afraid to try. Granted, in that process, be ready to get hurt if that happens and be real with yourself. But don't let fear grip you from finding your forever. Because sometimes if you stay in a fearful place by not allowing yourself to be in love with someone who you think you're not supposed to be in love with, you will never find your love, your truth, or your happiness, right?
Oh, that was so good. That was so good. Yeah. Ooh, I love this segment as well. This must be my new favorite segment. No, it's the truth though. But we're gonna move forward because I know Zach has some great tips and dips that he wants to leave y'all with.
Tips and dip. 3 types of friendship that exist. First, utility. It's one that is useful and beneficial, but it is where one party is able to gain from another. I think we've all had those friendships where we feel like someone takes from us, someone siphons from us, and that's not a useful friendship at all. So as I give you these tips and dips, I want people to be able to examine what type of friendships they have in their lives. The second type, the pleasure friendship or pleasure of friendship, where people love each other because of some good that they get from one another. So it may be a sexual aspect, it may be a emotional void that people feel for one another, or it may be some other type of aspect that fills another person's cup up. That in that aspect, when you think about a pleasureful friendship, again, it's yet another party taking advantage of another one. Like, there may be some reciprocal things that I'm hoping we're getting from each other, but Chris may pour into me emotionally more than I pour into him, but I tap into him from an emotional standpoint because I feel like he's always gonna be there. Like a toy on the shelf. You're there when I want you, and you're even there when I don't.
Ooh. Ooh.
And be mindful of that. And finally, there's the perfect friendship where we each pour into and give to one another. And the time that we spent together as the Blackberry View, I feel like not only have we had the opportunity to gain that opportunity from each other, but we've also had friendships that we talk about where we have those mutually beneficial friendships. So my tip for you all today is to do an examination of your friendships. Do a self-assessment and really be able to have a real conversation with yourselves. And it may be a journaling conversation, it may be an actual physical conversation with someone else, or it may be a conversation to yourself, but think about the fact, do you have a utility friendship, a pleasure friendship, or a perfect friendship? We pour a lot of energy into these friendships because, you know, we see these things in these people, in people, or we see the potential to be, as we talked about in the previous episode, you know, your chosen family versus your blood family. With those friendships, there's also that chosen family aspect. So the energy you pour into people, are you dealing with people who are energy vampires, energy succubus, or are you mutually watering each other's gardens?
And then to your point, you take me back to 7th grade biology, where we talk about feedback loops, right? And so we talk about parasites, commutualism, and mutualism, right? So within those relationships, you have some people, friendships who are parasites. You just pull. You pulling, you suck the life out of me. Unknowingly. It's unknown to me, but you're just sucking the life out of me. I don't even know. I'm completely unaware, right? Then you have commutualism, where you're attached to me and it's not for my benefit, it's just for your benefit. Think of it as a fish. You have big fish, and then sometimes you have small fish that lie under the bellies of the big fish. They eat off the scraps that fall out of the big fish's mouth, right? So it's not for the benefit of the big fish, but it's for the benefit of the small fish. It's okay, but that small fish is not pouring back into the energy of the bigger fish. Right. And then you have those mutually beneficial relationships, those mutual progressions, right? So I'm hunting one day, I'm bringing food back, you hunting the next day. So like when you said that, when you broke it down, it took me back to biology, because I was like, in the world, in nature, things are either parasites, the relationships are commutual, right? So one person's just passing by, or it's a mutual thing in the terms of cycles and response back loops.
Well, Zach always comes with the tips and the dips based on research. It's backed by research, yeah? So y'all, this has been episode 6 of the Blackberry View. Y'all, thank you so much for supporting us. Please remember to follow us on all of our social media platforms. That's Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at the Blackberry View. And of course, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you can watch all 6 episodes of the Blackberry View, as well as get some other important content as well. So that's it, y'all. Episode 6 is done. We'll see you next time. Peace.